in his Vanity Van in Jamshedpur, I think there were more amount of books than costumes and makeup and all that. So when I walked inside his vanity, I was like, Sushant, तुम तो पूरा यहाँ पे पूरा बुक शेल्फ भर्ती करके रखे हो. So somehow I feel that maybe my stars are intertwined with you, Sushant. And he had told me then that Swastika, just make sure that our stars are not faulty, huh?
Yeah.
There was something that was going on. As a woman, I would get the vibe and feel little bit of that discomfort on the sets or around people against whom the allegations had surfaced, but no, nothing.
She's a huge star in the Bengali film industry, and when you talk about broadening her horizons, she's stunned with her performance in Detective Byomkesh Bakshi and the very recently released Patal Lok. Now we'll see her as Kizzy's mom in Dil Bechara. Joining us for a conversation today is Swastika Mukherjee. How have you been? All good?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult answer to give given the trying times we are all living in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
talking
about, I think managing is the word.
Yeah, talking about trying times. When you did the film, it was a very emotional film. It was a very emotionally heavy film, but nobody knew the situations in which you guys will be promoting will also be emotionally so heavy. Has it made it difficult, the whole situation? Is it a mixed feeling? Like you can't even feel too happy about, releasing this film. You can't even, you have to do it still.
Yeah. Yes, I think, whether we are talking about it or whether we are sharing the moments and the memories on social media, because there is nothing else to do other than sharing them on social media. But the heaviness is constantly there, at the back of your mind, whatever you're doing throughout the day. And there's no way you can, keep the thought that about Dil Bechara away from your mind. And constantly that heaviness is there, which you can't run away from. And yes, I'm like, we usually don't go through our phone gallery quite often. I mean, we click pictures and then we just don't keep on going back to them until and unless we really want to do it. So, whenever I'm going back to the times that we were shooting and we had spent together, lot of personal videos, boomerangs, and pictures are coming up. You remember them with a smile in your face, but the constant heaviness is there. I would say that it becomes all the more difficult because there is no closure.
Yeah.
For his family, for his friends, for his fans, there is no closure. We will never get to know what really happened to him, what was upsetting him, what was he fighting with for. So there's no answer.
Yeah.
And there will not be any answer till the time we are there living our lives. So this not finding a closure, I think, makes it all the more difficult and painful.
Was it more easy with him on the sets of Dil Bechara, because by then you had already done a film with him?
Yes. So I actually realized it now that I'm the only one who has worked with him in 2 films. So it never really crossed my mind in this way that I'm the one who has done 2 films with him. And when I came on board for Dil Bechara and I met him at the Foxstar studio, I was there for my costume trials and he was also there for the same purpose. And Setu sir was there at DOP. The process had started. We were all getting ready for the film. Mukesh was also there. And the moment he saw me, he always called me with the name Anguri. Sometimes Anguri Devi, sometimes Anguri, sometimes Anguri Ji. I have hardly heard him call me Swastika. very, very few times. And so I told him that, my first big Bollywood film is with you. And this is my second big Bollywood film, which is also with you. And I told Sushant, when I told this to Sushant, that, I think, my stars are intertwined with you. I had told this to him because both the films in my career that's happening in Bollywood and big Bollywood films. So somehow I feel that, maybe my stars are intertwined with you, Sushant. And he had told me then that, Swastika, just make sure that our stars are not faulty, huh?
Yeah.
So of course we were laughing over it then, but now when I think of it, so there are a lot of meanings that come out of this line. Yeah, I do remember him with a lot of smile because, as you said, and also my experience of working with him in Byomkesh Bakshi and Dil Bechara, very flamboyant, lot of energy, avid book reader. There was this, I think in his vanity van in Jamshedpur, I think there were more amount of books than costumes and makeup and all that. So when I walked inside his vanity, I was like, Sushant, तुम तो पूरा यहाँ पे पूरा बुक शेल्फ भर्ती करके रखे हो. मतलब there are, it was just stacked. Books were stacked, and there were so many books on mathematics and astronomical, those calculations. And I got so scared seeing those books, and I told him that I have always failed in math when I was in school, and I was like so happy after passing out from school that I don't need to look at books on mathematics anymore, especially arithmetic and geometry. So I was like, I don't want to enter your vanity van anymore because I'm scared looking at these books full of calculations.
So Swastika, you have played a wonderful and socially relevant character in Paatal Lok. It reduces the stigma that people in the society at large have over mental health awareness. People do look down upon people who come out and say that they are dealing with some crisis in life, which has to go with their mental health. You've studied for that role. As an actor, as a performer, as a friend of his who has worked with him in 2 films and especially in the last 2 years of his life, did you ever sense that in him? Did you ever sense that there was something that he was dealing with?
No. I don't know. No. Actually, of course, there were changes in his changes the way he was in Detective Byomkesh Bakshi and Dil Bechara. Of course, because when he worked in Detective Byomkesh Bakshi, it was his 3rd film. What I really, really appreciated about him back then and also now, that he did not, just stick to doing very safe characters and very safe films that usually we see A-lister heroes do once they start doing Bollywood, biggies, and they are always playing very safe characters, very happy-go-lucky films, which the audience will really, like jump and agree to and encourage and go in like crowds to watch the film. Because as a 3rd film, I would say for an upcoming hero coming from television, Detective Byomkesh Bakshi was a risk. Doing Son Chidiya was also a risk. Yeah. So he, if we look at his career, he was always trying to, walk that extra mile and do experiments with the characters, with his looks, not really giving so much of importance to whether this will be accepted by the audience. He was working with, new faces were being launched with him. So he was also not playing it safe by working with established heroines. Yeah. He was also wanting to work with newcomers. that of course talks about the confidence he had in his craft. You know, you have to
You never
really
sensed
have to.
that he was going through any kind of trouble on the set.
I
He was,
really, definitely, I did not feel at all that it happened in Bomkesh. But of course, when I did Dil Bechara, Dhoni had happened. You know, he had reached that extreme stardom. So the confidence was showing in a different light. You know, Sushant was like, looked like a next door boy when I did Bomkesh. And here, Sushant was the star. So that bit of difference I could understand because so many films had happened and he had reached a certain position in Bollywood, and that is going to definitely change your personality in terms of you know, your confidence and your aura and you know, all of it. But he was so energetic, and you know, he loved to bring so much extra on board, not only following the lines that is there in the script. So yeah, I know he was so full of charm and always fooling around, joking around, making everything look very cool and um, really being so comforting towards Sanjana. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult
yeah,
because
but you know, when those your film also went through a little bit of a rough patch in between when stories about the Me Too allegations started coming in for both Mukesh and especially for Sushant. Everybody knew that Sushant was getting really affected by it because, and Sanjana even came out and spoke about it. But you know, when you're doing a film, in between these kind of stories doing the rounds,
yeah.
does it become difficult? Was the atmosphere ever, you know, a little down because of what was happening around?
See, we were not shooting exactly around that time when these allegations surfaced, and I got a lot of calls during that time from various people and media. But it was so shocking for me because I have never seen anything like this happening on the sets. Because if you're constantly working with the same group of people over 2 months, you you will hear something, you will see something,
Yeah.
you will have a little bit of knowledge of something that is going on. I mean, cannot like be completely unaware. And because I played Sanjana's mother in the film, we were always together. Also, you know, we all used to have dinner together, or we were eating together. I mean, there was the vibe was very positive and friendly on the sets. I was like, I really never felt uncomfortable with the crew or with the cast, and I've never seen Sanjana also feeling uncomfortable, or else I would have understood because we were always like this.
Yeah.
I actually it was very weird, and it was quite shocking, and a lot of people when asked me about Mukesh, I was like, I'm a woman. If you know, there was something that was going on as a woman, I would get the vibe and feel little bit of you know, that discomfort on the sets or around people against, you know, whom the allegations had surfaced. But no, nothing.
But do you remember the last time you met her last time?
Yeah, it was in Paris. It was in Paris, and yeah, it was like something very. I think something about spiced wine. You know, they were serving spiced wine in Paris, where this place called Montmartre, where we were shooting. There was this huge, amazing, beautiful church, and there were artists everywhere. So a lot of conversations happened about the paintings and the artists who were doing, you know, who were there on the streets, and there were these lovely, you know, cafes and you know, breakfast places, and it was so cold and cobble streets. So it was just discussion about Paris, and he was talking about the architecture of the church and the history of that place. Nothing really, nothing lame.
But all the best. we will always remember Sushant with a smile, because that's what
Yes, I would
he
definitely
would
want to
want
do
us.
that. Yes, I don't want to feel, always talk about the negativity that
to.
surrounds his demise. Because I think he would hate people doing it. He was not a negative person at all. And I'm just trying to not get affected by what's happening on social media or anywhere around me. And I would want to remember the positive things and the nice, happy things about him, and just keep the negativity aside.